How can you expect to give of yourself if you have an empty cup? Hey, Rachel here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I am a feminine life coach, stay-at-home mom, wife, and artist. On here, I talk about how feminine energy has transformed my life and how it can yours too. Today, I'll be answering a question that I get asked often. So let's get into it. What I get asked often is, how do I balance my life, my children, and all the things that I do? I wear many hats. As I said before, I'm an artist, so I make time to paint, and I have 3 children, and they also ask me, how do you keep such a nice home when you have all of these things going on? So I'm going to tell you about all the things that I implement throughout the day to make this possible, and how I can still remain in my feminine energy in a very healthy way while balancing these things. So the first topic I want to discuss, just to get it out there, is that we are all created differently. We are all endowed with very unique energy to accomplish different things in our life. And I have discovered this through human design. Once I delved into it, I was amazed at how accurate it was and how intricate God has made us. He has made us so unique that every single energy center in our body is connected in so many different ways and makes us uniquely who we are. And so I've loved delving into human design because it is very scientific, it's very accurate, it's kind of like a personality test, but it's very thorough. It told me a lot about myself that explained why I tend to be able to get so much done in a day. And there's 2 reasons for that. One is I have an open root chakra. I also have an open G center or heart center. And so what that means is that I'm constantly looking for something to do and to keep myself busy with. And I'm also looking to fulfill my purpose in life. And I recently reached out to a human design expert on this topic, and he was very helpful in explaining to me that I'm going to always be looking for my purpose until I stop looking. And so that has been something so revolutionary to me. And I feel like since I've turned 30, I've really realized what I'm very passionate about and that I can commit to that thing without fear of what the future holds, or fear that I won't be successful in it, or fear that something might come in the way of it, or that it will just be boring. I can have full assurance that this thing I've been passionate about my whole life will remain consistent for a very long time. And those 2 things, well, actually 3, there's so many things, but always been passionate about love and relationships. I've always been passionate about family dynamics and health. And I've also been very passionate about my art and about coaching and helping women. I've always been passionate about those things and knew that I wanted to do something with that. And now I've finally found what that is. And this YouTube outlet has helped me to be able to find that space in that container to actually step into my purpose and something that I feel called to. But I say all that to say that I've been created to constantly looking for something to do, and not everybody is like that. A lot of people are very stable in what they do on a daily basis, and they don't need to look for new things to do, or they can just sit on a couch and be perfectly fine just sitting there. And that's great, and that's amazing. And I think that it's so important for us to look into our human design chart so that we can actually pinpoint why we do the things that we do, and to rest into those and trust that how we interact with the world is completely normal, completely fine, and something that we can have grace towards ourselves with. The second thing I want to talk about is priorities. If you don't have your priorities in check, then it can get a little chaotic. First on my priority list is myself. And I know that that can seem a little selfish, especially being a mom, but it's actually not. How can you expect to take care of children and other people and give of yourself if you have an empty cup? I have to make sure that my cup is filled up before I can ever pour out to anyone else, especially to my children. It can get very stressful very quickly if I am not taken care of first. Whatever you find is most important, make that a priority. So the next step is visualization. And this is not woo-woo, this is actually very practical. If you think about how inventors create things, they don't just come up with an idea right off the bat and then start making it. Usually there is some type of visualization that they start with. There is some type of conceptualization of how this thing is going to come into physical form. In my book that I'm reading, Think and Grow Rich, it talks a lot about that. How to creatively imagine what your life would look like or what you want to create with your life. And I remember when we bought our first home, before we moved in, I spent hours and hours and hours planning what the house was going to look like. We didn't have enough furniture or decor to fill every room, and so we needed to buy new things. And I wasn't just going to buy whatever I thought might fit, because I had done that before and it didn't work. And so what I did was I planned out every single room down to a T of what everything was going to look like and where I could get all of these things. It was by visualizing that aspect. And the next topic is balancing your feminine and your masculine. I've talked about this in a previous video, but balancing your feminine and your masculine as a woman is very important. And when those energies are out of balance, then it can create a lack of balance in your life. And the way that I do this is by using my schedule to make sure that I have time to be in my masculine and I have time to be in my feminine. I find it very easy to be in my masculine. I gravitate more towards that side, ironically, but it is so important, and that's why I talk about it so much, is because once I stepped more into my feminine energy, my life transformed and I became softer and more was brought into my life than ever before. More abundance, more peace, more love, more attraction. So here's what my schedule looks like in a day. I wake up early and I make time for myself, whether that is working out, meditating, or just sitting in bed and listening to a podcast. Sometimes we just need to do that. But I usually only have time for one or two of those things. So if I have a really ambitious day ahead, then I will make sure to work out and do a quick meditation just to receive from God all that He wants to tell me at the beginning of my day. And that is me stepping into my feminine energy. And I do that because I know that the next few or several hours are going to be very masculine, because I'm going to be taking care of my children, feeding them, clothing them, cleaning up the house, and running errands, and maybe even showing them how to do some things. All of those energies are very masculine, and they're going to need to be balanced with a feminine energy. So once we have everything done in a day, then I'm going to make sure that I make time for me to step into my feminine. But an easy way to make sure that you have a nice balanced life is by asking for help and making sure that your children are being helpful as well. And that is how I take care of my home. That is how I've always had a nice house, is because I'm cleaning up after myself and of course the children, but I have taught them how to clean up after themselves. So they are always to put their dishes in the sink and clean up their clothes and clean up their toys and make sure that their areas are straightened up. And like I said before, it is so important to receive help. That is another aspect of your feminine energy, is to receive. And sometimes it can be very challenging to receive help because you feel like you have to either take on everything or that you feel that you're expected to take on everything in the household. And that's not always necessarily true. A lot of times your loved ones want to help you. So make sure that you are asking for help or that you are receiving help from other people, because it can definitely help you to rest into your feminine and know that you are taken care of, and that your reality doesn't have to be so masculine and so stressful. So after we have taken care of everything that we need to take care of in the beginning of the day, then I make sure that we have time to spend together with me and my children. And a lot of times I will just let them decide what it is that we are going to do next. So if that is playing with their toys or going outside, different things like that, I want it to be something that I don't have to be super hands on with, and that I can just receive their energy and rest and watch them. That's usually all that they want, is just for my attention to be on them. So I make sure that there's that time for that every day, because that can be so healing for myself and my feminine energy, as well as for them. At the end of the day, I make sure that there is time for me again. I sandwich me time every single day. And so what I do is I will take a very long shower and take care of all the necessary things that I feel like really make me happy and taken care of. I talk more about that in my evening routine, but an evening routine I find is very important for us to step into our feminine energy and embody a flowing and receptive energy. And then after I have taken care of myself, I make sure that at the end of the night, I make a list of everything that I want to accomplish the next day. And you don't necessarily need to have a list if you just want to go with the flow the next day, but just know that if you're going with the flow, you're most likely not going to get a lot of things done. So if you have things that you need to get done, want to get done, or expecting to get done, then make a realistic list and make sure that each item is balanced or sandwiched with your feminine energy, and that you're resting and rejuvenating in between the moments that you're taking care of something that needs to get done. So I hope this was helpful for you and something that you can implement in your day to day. I've recently started feminine coaching and I'm really loving it. This is something that I have wanted to do for a very long time. I have always had a passion about helping women and encouraging women in their walk of life, and giving them cool tricks and tips on how to up level and make their life an easier existence. And so I will be creating a coaching program that you can have access to in the near future. It might take a few months, but I'm really looking forward to this and really excited to offer that up to you. So I hope that you guys have a great day, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon.